Another company boards the NFT bandwagon, this time Nintendo, or at least based on who they're looking to hire for what position. It might tell us a bit about what their future plans are. Now, you may recall that back in February 2022, Nintendo was asked the question about what the metaverse holds for the gaming landscape and where Nintendo's stance is on that front. It reads right here, Nintendo has interest in the metaverse but ponders what fund it can provide. The direct quote is right here, the official translation from the Q&A portion of the financial results briefing that this quote was taken from. It reads, the metaverse has captured the attention of many companies around the world and it has great potential, said Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa. But at the same time, he did say that there is no easy way to define specifically what kinds of surprises and enjoyment the metaverse can deliver to our customers. We might consider something if we can find a way to convey a Nintendo approach to the metaverse that many people can readily understand, but we do not think that this is the situation at the present time. So Nintendo's definitely eyeing the metaverse, but they're still figuring out how they can implement that into their games with their IPs. And it seems as though they're beginning to experiment, especially with who they're trying to hire. They're trying to hire a corporate development principal at the Pokemon Company International, the Pokemon Company being a subsidiary of Nintendo's. And you can see right here that this job position is a pretty big deal. Job title, corporate development principal, president and corporate development office. These are your following roles and responsibilities if you apply for this job. Advise the president and executive leadership team on driving, assessing, and prioritizing the long-term strategic direction and operating priorities, maximizing the group synergies, corporate development and innovation, and then beyond that, design, build, and run the Pokemon Company Innovation Challenge, an internal idea sourcing platform to gather and assess the Pokemon Company's employees' innovative ideas. It is their job to identify, analyze, monitor, and build relationships with external co-development partners and create a platform to test new ideas' feasibility and support iterative development by working with the Pokemon Company internal stakeholders and external co-developers. So these are some pretty high-level executive responsibilities here, and to really emphasize the importance of this position, the job listing states that this role puts you in the middle of the Pokemon Company in unprecedented growth in the company's history. And it looks like one of the ways they hope to further drive that growth is by partaking in blockchain, crypto, NFTs, Web3, Metaverse, you name it, as can be seen in this section of the job listing in the category of what you'll bring. A couple of the bullet points here are highlighted. Reads, deep knowledge and understanding of Web3, including blockchain technologies and NFT and or Metaverse. Deeply connected to a network of investors and entrepreneurs in the technology sectors above Web3 and Metaverse. So have knowledge of this whole landscape and know people who are in this landscape and have the ability to bring in partners who are able to collaborate with us for endeavors that may involve Web3 and NFTs. And then there's this one other bullet point that stood out to me in the what you'll bring section of this job listing. Focuses on the long-term gain over short-term / transactional gains. Well, it's vague enough where it could be interpreted a number of ways. Part of me fears that this is giving off the vibe of recurrent long-term monetization over your traditional business models right now. And part of that will involve leaning heavily into Web3 and NFTs and crypto and blockchain. All of these elements that so far have brought no genuine benefits to the players, have offered no genuine advances in game design that improve games overall. So far, they've just been buzzwords and fads that companies are trying to sell us as something that will be genuinely beneficial to us. But if you really look at what this technology does in terms of how it's currently implemented, it's all about trying to turn video games into their own micro economies, trying to turn players into investors. And it is a landscape that is so unregulated that it's rife with scams, schemes, cons, theft, hacking, all kinds of nefarious and shady activity. A number of news outlets have caught wind of this job listing and are not particularly enthused about what this could potentially mean for the future. The Pokemon Company is looking to hire someone with NFT knowledge, reports Nintendo Life, with an image that shows a crying Jigglypuff. Sad days indeed to see so many companies trying to go in this direction. And then beyond that, you've got Kotaku here, who put it very simply, oh no, Pokemon could be getting getting into NFTs. Could is technically the right word to use because we know nothing definitive about what Nintendo and the Pokemon Company's plans are with hiring for this new position that requires knowledge and connections with the landscape of Web3, Metaverse, crypto, blockchain, NFTs, etc. But the fact that Nintendo is hiring someone with expertise in that landscape is obviously not something one can ignore. It clearly means Nintendo is trying to poke and prod at this landscape and see what they can come up with, see how they can take advantage. Nintendo's very clearly not ruling out delving into this stuff, and they've expressed before that they see some potential in the metaverse. They're just trying to figure out how they can make it work. And it looks like they are pushing to make it work by hiring someone who has expertise in the blockchain, crypto, Web3, Metaverse, NFTs ecosystem. And with Pokemon being what it is, a game that emphasizes collecting, a game that emphasizes catching them all, which is the catchphrase of the IP, yeah, I can certainly see Nintendo getting some ideas about ways they can make Pokemon's collectible through NFTs and kind of kickstarting their own economy based on the value of different Pokemons and the NFTs attached to them, which could pave the road to something along the lines of the digital version of how the Charizard Pokemon trading card goes for, what, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, I don't know, a lot of money. They want that, but just a more active economic landscape where people are constantly buying and selling and trading and treating Pokemon like a giant speculative stock market. This is not me saying definitively this is what Nintendo's gonna do. This is just the kind of stuff that my brain is imagining based on how NFTs, crypto, blockchain, Web3, Metaverse have been utilized thus far, how they've been implemented thus far, based on how companies have conducted themselves so far. Nintendo is still a company. The Pokemon Company is still a company that will prioritize financial results. And so I can see them thinking about such things. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. But this wouldn't be the first time that an entity has tried to exploit the idea of collecting monsters or collecting animals to integrate that stuff with NFTs and to have people buy in and engage in this buying, selling, trading vicious cycle. Axie Infinity, you may recall, was a rather shady game, essentially a Pokemon clone, where finance bros exploited low-paid workers. I talked about that in a video from months back. And beyond that, this was the game that was infamously hacked last year, back in March of 2022, and had $615 million worth of cryptocurrency stolen. So yeah, there's that. Beyond that, there is Logan Paul's scam of an NFT game called CryptoZoo. I talked about it in a previous video from a few weeks back. This was a scam that was investigated and exposed by YouTuber CoffeeZilla, who released a 3-part series where he shared his findings and just completely and utterly blew the lid wide open on this thing, and Logan Paul had to take the L there. This was supposed to be a game where players hatch NFT eggs and trade exotic digital animals, except not only were these digital animals stock photos that were photoshopped and repurposed, the whole game launched, I use that term liberally here, launched completely broken and unfinished with various bugs and issues, and it caused a lot of people to lose a ton of money, from hundreds to thousands to tens of thousands, and for some, hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is the kind of landscape that this is, and as Kotaku aptly highlights here, associating the child-friendly IP that is Pokemon with an ecosystem rife with fraud and scams would cause significant damage to Pokemon's public image. I've yet to hear one good explanation for how NFTs will be genuinely beneficial to players in a way that isn't artificial and BS, and how it will further game design beyond allowing companies to pursue new monetization avenues. It's more about benefits for the companies rather than benefits to the products, to the creativity of video games. Now, it's worth noting that back in December of 2022, there was this company that tried to use the Pokemon IP to make their own NFT game called Pokeworld. I don't know why they thought that would go well. Nintendo is notorious for how harsh they are when anyone tries to use their IPs in any way, shape, or form that doesn't fall in line with their strict guidelines on that front. Even if it's like a fan project, passion project made with love, Nintendo will sue the shit out of those people or copyright take down their stuff. But this is a case where this is a company that was associated with crypto and NFTs, and they were trying to turn Pokemons into NFTs. Now, this is a case where Nintendo is in the right to protect their IPs when another company is using that IP without their permission to try to profit off of it. But part of me has to wonder whether part of why Nintendo went so hard on this is because Nintendo has their own version of Pokeworld plan, their own Pokemon Metaverse where you collect Pokemon NFTs or something, and they didn't want any other entities to interfere with those potential plans. I don't know. These are the kinds of paranoid thoughts that go through my head when a company like the Pokemon company is starting to hire people who are required to have deep knowledge and understanding of Web3, blockchain, NFT, and be deeply connected to a network of investors and entrepreneurs in the technology sectors in this ecosystem. And I'm not the only one who is feeling a sense of foreboding on all of this. Here's Twitter user Pari, who tweeted, Pokemon company posted a job opening that encompasses blockchain, NFTs, and Web3 technologies. Oh no. Pari also makes it a point to highlight that Square Enix has recently been very bullish about Metaverse and NFTs, and now to have the Pokemon company join the fray, like, it just sucks, especially coming from the Pokemon company, which is a company dedicated to products that are supposed to be family friendly and harmless and, you know, meant for kids as much as adults and all these things. And to promote this kind of crap, or at least to lean into this crap based on what the job listing seems to indicate, it seems to go counter to, you know, everything Nintendo and entities like the Pokemon company promote as far as what they aim to achieve with their products, which is to make games that are as accessible as possible. Like, are you trying to turn kids into gamblers and investors, and are you trying to expose them to a landscape where they can easily be scammed, where they'll fall prey to all kinds of cons and schemes, and a landscape where theft can happen through hacks? Now, some folks are trying to be optimistic by saying things like, looking into the job opening, blockchain and NFTs are only a qualification and are not any of the responsibilities that one must do. Plus, this is the international side of the Pokemon company, so not likely NFTs will show up on anything Pokemon related, so there shouldn't be much to worry about. I don't know, the Pokemon company's job listing here seems pretty adamant that you must have deep knowledge and understanding, as well as be deeply connected. Maybe it'll be a while before Nintendo and the Pokemon company's ideas for how they can integrate NFTs, blockchain, and Metaverse into Pokemon will come to life. But it does feel like the wheels are starting to turn and that they're trying to get something started there. It feels like the experimentation phase has begun, the conceptualization stage has begun. And I fear that Nintendo and or the Pokemon company will exploit people's emotional attachment to one of the biggest IPs in the world, use the allure of collecting Pokemon to try to normalize NFTs and try to find new monetization avenues on that front, regardless of if it comes at the cost of people being financially harmed by the promise of, you know, profitable investment ventures. Keep in mind that Nintendo is not above engaging with shady monetization tactics, especially where mobile games are concerned. Titles like Fire Emblem Heroes, Mario Kart Tour, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, Pikmin Bloom, and then when it comes to Pokemon, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Unite, they all engage in some of the worst monetization practices that video games and especially mobile games do. Nintendo is not above compromising their ideals by doing things like adding gambling in kids' games in order to make a quick buck. I'm not foreseeing any sort of bright future here. All of this is ominous to me. But only time will tell. All we can do right now is speculate, but given the current track record of companies who have tried to integrate blockchain, NFTs, and Metaverse, nothing about Nintendo hiring someone with deep knowledge on that stuff and being deeply connected with, you know, entrepreneurs who are in that landscape offers any sort of good vibe. But that's just one man's take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on this Pokemon company job listing that seems to be emphasizing blockchain and crypto, NFTs, Web3, Metaverse. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.